what should I do if my kid fails a drug test or actually there's a couple different questions here. One, has a false positive on a drug test, which has happened before, which is kind of a bizarre situation, but we've like legitimately had kids eat like poppy seed muffins and fail. I think it's for opiates which is crazy, but it's happened more than once. And we've also had lots and lots of kids that have like failed their drug tests too. So I would say that I would take it really seriously. This kind of underscores the importance of having a plan B or being on the same page with the clinical team, so that if that happens, knock on wood, because relapse is a part of a lot of people's recovery, but it doesn't have to be. But if that happens, then we're ready. We're like, okay, like we've been training for this. We already knew what we were going to happen or what we were going to do if this happens. So then we just immediately move into whatever that plan B was, whether it's increasing the level of care clinically or sending them to treatment or moving them from individuals into group therapy or whatever that may look like. The thing that I would encourage you guys to do is really watch the behavior, because we relapse in our heads long before we ever actually pick up. Like that's the very last part of the relapse. It's the engine that kills you, not the caboose. So you watch their behavior and like if they're making eye contact, who they're spending their time with. I'm going to keep coming back to that because it's so huge. And it also gives you an opportunity to really use your boundaries too, and it tests you a little bit on how strong and firm your boundaries are. But it's not the end of the world. We've dealt with many, many, many kids over the years that have relapsed, and the ones that have like done the best and have kind of bounced back from it are the ones where the parents were like, okay, well, pack your crap, leave my phone, leave the keys to my car, whatever, unless you're ready to hop back in. You drop the ball, you pick it back up. Relapse isn't the end of the world, but it is an indicator for us that there's something that needs to be tweaked. You have anything you want to?
I think there was another, with that other question, what do I do if my kid relapses? Like it's an opportunity for growth, and having the plan B is critical. You can't wait until it happens to figure out what you're going to do, right? It may or may not happen, but you have to have a plan beforehand, and not compounding the problem by throwing shame on it, right? We all make mistakes. It's like Rex said earlier, right? As a codependent, I relapsed this morning because making breakfast for my kid, even though he's capable, and I really felt like he needed breakfast before I left, right? And that sounds ridiculous, but the reality is like, so not shaming them for it, like, right? It doesn't mean they're a failure. It doesn't mean they're not using their tools. It means they're human and they need more support. And we had the opposite. That question was, what if we had a false positive? I was so in denial that when Emerson had a false negative, I didn't do anything. I was like, oh, she's got a negative test, she's fine. Kid was smoking dope, like, and doing cocaine, right? Like, it was, but I had the false sense of security because I chose to believe the false negative, right? Instead of doing what Joe said, looking at the behavior. So there's a lot of components of it, but for me, the key is not shaming them for the relapse, because we all do it every day in one way or another. And having your plan B set before you get there, because otherwise it's a big emotional drama that doesn't need to be an emotional drama. So.
Cool. You got anything to add to that from your perspective?
Not really. I would just.
You don't have to.
It's a false positive, and just test again. Just do another one, and if that one's the same thing, then act accordingly. There's the plan B for a reason.
Cool.